Hey guys, how's it going? Today we have a reverse Tabata L sit. So we're going to be doing 10 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. And I'll be kind of talking through this video to give you kind of things to think about while you work on this skill in core development. On this second interval coming up, you'll notice it starts out with kind of you'll notice like a little bit of a soft knee. And if you have that in your L sit, kind of the best fix for it is to tense the quad. And you'll see it kind of midway, tense the quad, and it pulls it nice and tight, create a much straighter, cleaner line. On movements like this, when we have them in our programming, a lot of times with like competitors, we end up doing a lot of other stuff beforehand. So on the day that this was recorded, we had 5x5 deadlifts and like a Metcon in there. We had to run a couple 800s for time. And then this was kind of in at the end. And it's really easy to kind of like just go through the motions and not think about the movement as much as maybe you should. But certain things like this, like the L sit, this is your time to kind of like work on it and develop it to the best of your ability. Work on what we talk about in CrossFit, that virtuosity component of doing the common uncommonly well. Instead of making a movement like a basic movement, making it more of a fine art. Now proper L sit, you'll notice the toe point. We want to create a straight line that goes from the toe point to the top of the hip. A lot of times on your L sit, what ends up happening is the feet will drop a little bit, and you'll see a lot of people create the straight line that goes from kind of the bottom of the glute to the heel. And although you're holding your feet up off the ground, that's not necessarily the proper L sit. Now in a competition setting, they're probably not going to require that toe point, and they're not going to require that little extra elevation. But since we're not in a competition setting, it's a good opportunity to practice it. And then when you get to something that does require, maybe an L sit for max time, you can relax some of those components, and you'll be able to hold your L sit a lot longer, assuming that you're making your movement a little bit more strict in practice. One thing that could improve my L sit after watching this video is to make it a little bit more virtuous. If I were to push my hips forward and get them in line with my hands or forearms, that's a more technically sound L sit. It's more proper in kind of like the gymnastics viewpoint. And then you'll also notice as fatigue sets in, kind of those shoulders crunching up towards the ears, I'd actually want to activate that a little bit and press down. That would elevate my hips up a little bit more and create a more proper position. I think we have one more interval here. And what you'll notice, and as fatigue sets in, my feet will drop a little bit, and then that line starts to be more from the glutes to the heels that we were talking about earlier. And I just want to fight as much as possible to bring the tip of the toes up more level with the crease of the hip. Hopefully some of that stuff was helpful to think about. Have fun with it. Go get it.